Greetings, Earthlings.
I hadn't heard that in a minute.
Right.
We
Hey there,
are.
y'all. Hey guys, welcome to the lounge. After the sermon, it's the after party. We're here for another Monday evening turn up with our pastor Terrell Munger of One Accord. Guys, we're so excited to have you join us this evening. So many exciting things has happened with One Accord starting off 2022, and you got to meet this man, Mr. Corey Curtis. He is a part of our youth ministry. He is a wonderful, wonderful human being. So he is here with us. He also led sermon yesterday, a wonderful service, phenomenal service for our youth Sunday. And so his message yesterday was when faith is in the building. Guys, we are in for a treat tonight as far as when we talk about the sermon. When faith is in the building, we are in a Savage Faith season, Savage Faith year. You guys got to feel it, you got to believe it, you got to see it, you got to say it before you see it. So, guys, we're just gonna turn this thing all the way up today. I'm so excited about this conversation tonight. So, Pastor, if you would share a couple words of how you feel about tonight and how yesterday's service was for you.
Man, it was phenomenal. Let me tell you, I was so excited about that. My wife and I were in Atlanta, and we were actually going to stay another day, but I had to be in the building. If faith was going to be in the building, I wanted
You
to
gotta
be
be
in
there.
the building with it. And so we hopped on the road. We made it in about 11:30 that night. But the reason I wanted to be there, number one, I wanted to get it crunk. I wanted to throw you off your game when you stepped into that atmosphere. Number one, I wanted to give you that good Steve Harvey introduction up in there.
Ooh, it
But,
works.
brother, I've watched you
Did he
from
do it?
afar. Say that again.
I said, didn't he do it?
Yeah. I watched you from afar for years, man. You've always been positive. You always had a level of spiritual maturity that was very admirable. And after connecting with you, the half that I thought I knew was nothing compared to the man that I know now. And we are excited to have you on the team with One Accord. And we experienced that fire word. Now it's time for the after party up in here.
Yes, yes. All right,
Okay.
so let's hop right into it. So, past well, how would you prefer us to call you tonight, Corey? Can I call you Corey? You know, Minister Corey,
Absolutely.
CC,
Corey
which
is
Pastor C. All right, but listen. Yesterday, you came from the book of Nehemiah 2. Yesterday, when faith is in the building, and there's a particular when I went back and I read the this passage, it was a certain part that really spoke to me, and I'm pretty sure it spoke to others as well. But you started at verse 6 yesterday, but I want to kind of take it up a couple more notches up to maybe verse 3. Um, no, well, I'm gonna go take it to verse 2. When Nehemiah, it says, the king asked him, why does his face look so sad when you are not ill? This can be nothing but sadness of your heart. I was very much afraid, but I said to the king, may the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins, and its gates have been destroyed by fire? Now this is the kicker. In verse 4, the king said to him, what is it you want? Then I prayed to God of heaven, and I answered the king. It's something right there in that mixture where, as far as he prayed first before he answered the king. And I kind of think about if how often if we could just be slow to speak and quick to listen, if we'll just pray first before we answer when God or anybody else asks us what is it that we want. So if you don't mind touching on that a little bit as far as what that meant to you and why this passage was so important on yesterday for when faith is in the building.
And you know what's funny about that is I started at 6, but I started the message at 4.
Yeah,
when
you did.
Recap. I made them sure to know that all this is happening because of verse 4, because he prayed first. And it's just, I mean, it's like the most important faith move you can have is to pray first. I talked a lot about moving out of season towards the end of the message. Prayer is just, it's that when you think about when the Army and the Navy and the armed forces are in that briefing room before they actually go out and actually do the activity of war, it's that briefing. And so prayer is that briefing time, that time where we get our strategy, where we get why it's necessary to wait in this moment and move in this moment, why it's necessary to know where the materials are coming from. Prayer is that briefing. And I think with Nehemiah, how I addressed it yesterday as well, was God gave him the courage to speak. Mm-hmm. He knew God, so he could go to God and talk to God first, and then get that courage to actually go to someone who he didn't know him. He worked for him. He didn't know Artaxerxes. He worked for the man.
Hey, Corey, what I got out of that part that I thought was so fire, I'm paraphrasing. You ain't say it exactly like this, but talking to God changes how you talk to people.
Yes.
If I've been talking to God, I'm just going to say it. I ain't scared of you because I've already talked to him. So I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to let God handle the rest. I'm not going to be tiptoeing around. If I've been talking to God, I can talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
That saved my marriage. That saved my marriage. I went to God and I said, there are things that I just cannot say to her that I know I need to, and I need the courage and the strength to do it, Lord. I wasn't able to have these conversations with my wife until I prayed, and God gave me the strength and the peace.
Amazing.
With the outcome of talking. And that's the thing. God gives us the peace to deal with the outcome. If the story was turned 180 degrees and Artaxerxes said no, it didn't matter because Nehemiah was already at peace after he talked to God.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know the answer. He was already done. Like I said yesterday, I trust God and I leave him with the consequences.
Ooh,
that was so yesterday. Good. Because check this out, man. The Bible says if you have confidence before God, you can have whatever you want. So that makes sense. If you talk to God enough, you're used to talking to him. You're used to hearing his voice. Other people's voice won't scare you. If the bank say no, I done talk to God. It just means wait. It might mean it may take a little longer, but I've talked to God. So your voice sounds different. And it makes me wonder that when your voice sounds different, does it now make people respond to you differently? Like that dude been in the face of God. I don't know how to just say no to that.
Right.
Bouncing now, but remember when Christ was in the temple and they said, who is this man that speaks like that? His voice. They was like, hold up. We've been reading this for years, but it sounds different now.
Yeah.
It's something different about this dude. It's something different. So absolutely, I do think our tone and inflection, that's something that I train with at my job. I talk about tone and inflection all the time. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. So
now go ahead. I wanted to pitch in because while you talking about tones, you also had so many great points yesterday. You also told us yesterday how we need to be careful of distinguished tones of scared people. Dive into that because that was powerful. Because we had to say that again. We had to stop service. Stan was like, I need you to say that again. Yeah. So be careful of the distinguished tones of scared people. Talk about that for me.
Well, people who are afraid, they want company. And so they will give you a tone that will make you believe it's all right to quit. It's all right to back down. It's all right to stop now. It's all right to stop right here. In the case of Nehemiah, you don't necessarily have to build this wall back. You don't necessarily have to do it. And so people that are just complacent and happy, content with where they are, and those distinguished tones sometimes come from people who think they know it all. They think they got it all together already. They already good. They already straight. And then they will talk you out of where God is sending you. Because truth of the matter, a lot of those know-it-all people, a lot of those Pharisaical, Sadducee-like people, they have done all the work by their hands. They've done the work on their own. Faith hasn't been a part of it. Faith hasn't been a part of it anyway. And so they go, you know what? I'm looking at this and that's not necessary. You don't have to do it. You've done X, Y, and Z, and that's good enough because X, Y, Z equals finish. So you're good. And so they will talk you out of what you're supposed to do, and they will do it in a very cunning and distinguished way. I don't believe Satan scared Eve into doing what she did. It was a distinguished, I know it all tone that caused her to do it.
Look, and I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes talking you out of it comes in the form of suggestions. The serpent said, did God really say that? He didn't speak again, and he just put a suggestion out there. Are you sure you strong enough to do that? Are you sure you saved enough money? Are you sure you gonna have the time to do that? And that suggestion will be the fear in them being put into you. They want you to think their negative thoughts.
Take their fear onto your faith.
That was good.
That was good.
And when you look at it, could that be what Jesus was saying when he told the people, you speak the native language of your father? You don't even know you're doing it. See, we ain't practicing to speak English. We speak the language of those that we're around. If you would have dropped me in China before I even formed a word, I'd be speaking Chinese, because I speak from those that raised me. And sometimes we got to realize those that raise us, though they mean well, we're speaking the language of their failures, and we're re-experiencing them again. That's what it means to be born again. I know you were born into broke people, but you need to be born again into wealthy people. You need to be born again into hopeful people. Being born again is taking on everything. He is a creator, so when you born again, you become a creative yourself.
You sure right about that, Pastor.
Whoever listening, did you get that? Don't speak the language of your failures. Gracious. Goodness gracious.
You said it.
You said it.
You said it. Look, he done preached himself happy.
Right.
Goodness.
You said it. And it also leads up to another great point that you made yesterday. You said that you pray that God don't put us in a place where our character can't keep us. And that touch on what you mentioned as far as language. So if we pick up the language of people's failures, and we also pick up their habits as well, we end up being exposed when the light comes.
That's right. Like Peter, Corey. Peter, from something about Jesus made him think he could walk on water. But when he started, the people who were saying, no, Peter, don't do it. You're going to fall, you're going to fall, you're going to fall. He forgot what he believed listening to their voice.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You know you can't walk on water. Come on, man. You know you can't do it.
Yeah. You ain't Jesus. You ain't. Get back in this boat.
You gon' drown.
Yeah. And so even with what you were saying, and I don't want us to get too far without the phenomenal way you broke down when faith is in the building. You got to have faith in the building process.
Yes.
Faith needs to be in the building for us to do it. Then we have to have faith in the building that it'll protect and grow people. Boy, if you didn't break that thing down, man.
You preached the walls down. You preached those walls down.
God is faithful. It was 2.5 years since I done that. I was like, at home church practicing.
but tell us your thought process and how you separate those things, because that was powerful yesterday as far as how it all was one message, but it had 3 ways of how to actually build it all together.
I'm a rapper.
You got bars.
Verses.
I mean, that's why I would start at. I think I would start at the gift, and then just the time in prayer, seriously, like the time, like, Lord, this has to be what's necessary. One of the biggest things about youth ministry is you have to make sure you're taking care of the youth. And as the leader, you have to make sure that you are respected as a man of God. This is a conversation and things I talked to my wife about. She was like, well, babe, you love youth ministry and you love kids. She's like, but do you think, that they're going to see you, because, so many people look for really, really, really young people to, usher the youth in. And we always were against it. And so the process of praying and saying, God, I need a word that would not only grab the ears of the young people, but the house needs this too. I can't stand up here and just talk to the kids in front of the adults. We could have just stayed in the back. If it was just going to be for you all as the adults to just sit and watch them learn, you could just come and sit in one Sunday, but it was necessary that the house got a word. And I just was praying about, I was like, Lord, don't let me get caged in. Don't let me become boxed into, making sure that the message is fun and upbeat and youthful. And I miss what you're trying to say through me to your people. And so after that, it was just him just downloading. I mean, because I looked at Nehemiah totally different after that. Yeah. And then I even went to pastor because I had two and we were talking and he said, you know what? Build. And I was like, you never lied. Oh my. I got in the car and I was like, this dude right here, he read my mind, Lord. Because I wanted 3. I did not want to, at first I did not want to do, I thought in the building, it would have been too directed at trying to get people to come to church. And so I just kept looking at Nehemiah and I was like, Lord, what is he saying to the church? Not to get people in the church. What is he saying to the church? What is the admonishment to the church? And it was necessary that we look like what needs to bring them. We got to look like the building. We got to be the ones that are the building. And so when faith is in the building, it's in the trust of what is happening inside of that building. It's on us now. It's on us. It's on us. When faith is in the building, that means faith is in the people in the building. Trust is in the people in the building.
Yes,
and that's the key. But here's what I love about you more than anything. As wise as you are and as passionate as you are about the scriptures, you're humble. You're humble. You let your work speak for you. You work well with people. You respect people. You honor people. That's why, and I said April this. That's why God has lifted April up to the point that she is, because she honors people. And she gives credit where credit is due. And that's the same thing I see in you. You honor people. You're proud. Man, boy, you don't know how good you made Mama B feel when you was like, that's my mama now. Boy, and you just have a tendency to really honor people. And I feel like that's why God is elevating you in the way he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Amen. I received that. It's that's just me. So April can attest to that. That's just me. That's just me. I'm a servant first, and I take honor in serving. I really take honor in making sure that we all feel good. We all feel accepted. We all feel heard. We all feel seen. And it's necessary. I think God is in that. God will speak to April through you, saying, I see you, daughter. And so that ability to serve, that ability to be humble allows God to now speak through you. You're not trying to sound all deep. You're not trying to sound, okay, I'm gonna break it down in the Greek and the Hebrew and in the Latin, and then I'm gonna give you the, and this is the eisegesis, and this is the eisegesis. This, you know what? Let me be at a posture where God can speak.
And that's what the Bible says. The Bible says, if you humble yourself, he'll exalt you. And brother, sky's the limit to what you're doing. I know we got about 8 more minutes, but just in case we run out of time, I do want you to share the story that brought all your points home when you said you were at work, and because of how you were, it actually brought those 2 visitors in the building.
Yeah, faith is in the building.
The way you carry yourself made them believe in the building and said, we want to be in there.
Oh, let me tell you, when I got back to work this morning, Carlos met me with coffee, and he said, we have not had an experience in church like that in so many years.
Praise
so much for inviting us. We have not had an experience. And this is just me and Carlos. Laura wasn't even there. He was like, and he looked me in my eyes and he was like, Corey, thank you so much. And guess what? He said, I felt born again.
Ooh, God.
I received it. I was like, Lord, this man just said he felt born again. Like it spoke to something that had been laying dormant, almost dead, and it spoke life to it. And he said, we'll be back. So he said, we got a job in Starksville, but I think we're going to take that 2-hour drive back here Sunday.
Come on now.
And we got to come to church.
Faith in the building.
Man, I tell you.
Faith in the building. When faith is in the building, faith is in
the building. But you mentioned that it should reflect on us. Both of you guys have mentioned it before. Like when you show up, they should be automatically see who you are. They should be able to feel your energy. They should be able to feel, who do you serve? Where do you go to church at? That's what you said yesterday. That's what led them to want to ask those questions, just by how you carried yourself, how you talk, how you move. So that's just what living evangelism. That's what we're doing right now. It's just being natural human beings who love God, who love the Lord, and who love our church. We have to be able to stand out and be those examples.
And let me say this, April, too. Look, people are always throwing shade, so I can throw some light. Let me throw some light. Let me have some grace to throw some light. But just like that praise brunch April did, she's had people visit the church and join the church because they went to the praise brunch. The atmosphere that was created made people come. And Corey, you end up doing the same thing. You at your paid vocation, doing what you've been hired to do, but you do it so well that somebody said, man, what church you go to? We want to be there.
Mm-hmm. But also like Corey is who he is no matter where he is. And that's what we're trying to let people know. You don't have to create a different version of yourselves no matter what atmosphere you're in. Just be who you are, because if you can't, like you said, own who you are, Pastor, then you're going to confuse the people around you. And God will be like, who are you? When you this person over here, you this person over there. But if you just remain who you are and allow me to work on you and take away the things that does not belong, they'll start to see me through you. And that is just amazing.
The irony in that is when I'm doing like when I have events and I interact with other artists, if they come to my job, I'll find out where I work at, because I work in a hotel. So I've seen a lot of artists that I've opened up for or done music with, and then they will come into town and then I'll come out of the back, and when I was sales manager, I would come out the back and, how you doing? They would go, Corey Curtis? They would go, man, I never would have thought that this is what you do. And then the flip side, when people who see me at work see me on stage, they go, I could never imagine this is what you do. But this is what you do. This is what you do. And what culminates it is I'm the same person on both, that they think that that's all I do.
Yeah.
They think that that's all I do. Some people think I am a full-time Christian hip hop artist, and I go to work every morning.
Yeah.
And some people think I go to work every morning, because it's the same humility, dedication, and act of service that I give on both of them. They think this is definitely what you do, and this
One
is
more
all.
thing. One more thing. Your daughter.
Woo! Yes, Jesus. She did not prepare us at all. I mean, she up there fixing the mic. I'm like, okay, she warming up, and baby just hit us.
She opened up her mouth. I said, "Oh my God!"
And immediately put us in the glory. She took us to glory in 1 second.
Everybody was like, "Oh!"
You had to kneel because God was present, Jesus. Like Stan had to kneel. Stan had to get to that altar, like Jesus.
Get to the altar quick. Yeah, that was a highlight for me as her dad, because I've had to always remind her of just how anointed her voice is.
Yes.
I mean, I tell her all the time, just baby, your voice is different. It's different. It's sweet and it is angelic. I'm telling you. And she just go, Dad, I just But I said
that was I don't know what that was, a revival right there.
There was a point that I did not make. And I said, you know what? It's so cool that we have the lounge, the after party. There was one point that when I got through, because there was something in the back of my head said, it's time to close. And so I did. But in that same chapter, you can go and look at it. And I think it's in 11 and 12. And it had a lot to do with faith in the building, in the verb. Nehemiah did not go around voicing what he trusted God to do.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to stress the importance of not blasting everything that you're doing. I got this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. If God mandated and sealed it, go do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Work. That's how we can separate the righteous from the self-righteous. That's how we can separate it. When we see you always, I'm doing this, I'm doing it, I'm gonna do this, I'm doing this, and it's never just the work, just the fruit. Let me just see the fruit. And so there was a point in there. If you go back and read it, Nehemiah told them, he said, I did not tell anyone what I talked to God about.
Yeah, you see me with my shoe. You see me with my shoe because I'm finna throw it at you through the screen.
Look, Corey, and I'll end with this and let Miss April close us out. But when I got home, my wife said, if what y'all felt in the room was anything like what I felt on live stream, y'all had a good time. And I was like, baby, you wouldn't understand. The atmosphere was so electric. And she said, I know because I felt it through the stream. So that's when you're doing your job. When the Holy Ghost and go ahead and go through the networks on us.
Right. Man. And I believe because we were ready, we were open. We were expecting something. And it just kind of just drove in and we just allowed God in. And he really took over. It was a phenomenal service yesterday. We thank you, Corey. A couple of comments in the chat. Miss Katina said people will read you more than they will read the Bible. When we was talking about, us just showing up and how you show up at work and being the same person consistently. Also, last question, Lady Tiffany mentioned, what is the biggest thing you wanted people to take away from your message? I think we probably touched on it, but just to go ahead and just to wrap it up, but what is the biggest thing you wanted people to take away from yesterday?
The biggest thing that I would want people to take away from the message
that we need to apply, that's what you mentioned,
is to just trust God. Trust God with it. Trust God with it. With the process. So that means the timing. Trust God with the resources.
Yes.
And the right people. Just trust God. Because man will fail you time and time again. But trust God.
I can't stress that enough.
At the end of the day, that's what we got.
That's what we got.
That's all we got. That's all we got. Like I told Pastor in our class, if what you see is all you see, then you really don't see.
Ooh,
that was it.
That was good.
And I'm holding on to that. If what you see is all you see, then you don't see. You got to really see it.
You got to see it when you don't see it.
Exactly.
That was good. That was so good.
And like you said, we have to learn how to sustain what God has given us. We're in a season of, He already showed us, whether it's through vision or whether it's right now in front of you in the natural. He's already shown you what's possible. Right now, it's like, okay, He's giving it to you, but now we're in a season where He's trying to teach us how to sustain that thing and how to really just work it.
Amen.
I don't know. God is doing some amazing things. We could be on here all night.
Yes. Well, we thank you for your boldness, brother.
Yes, thank you.
Things to call. If y'all like that, make sure y'all come out to One Glory. We got some awesome things about to happen. February the 26th. You're going to get this for my man, Corey Curtis. Come, bring your teens, bring your youth, bring your young adults this Sunday, and you can get more of what you just seen.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in to another lounge. After the sermon, it's the after party. Hey, so guys, we will see you next Monday at 6:30. Guys, thank you for joining us this evening. We hope you have a wonderful night.